What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It has been such a long time since I've done one of these videos, which, as you can see by the title, we are here to discuss Deadpool and Wolverine, talking cameos. I'm going to break it all down. I already talked about this film with my non-spoiler review, which you all can check out, kind of get into my pros and cons, but this video is dedicated to, again, just those cameos, man. So excited to be talking about it finally. Talks to Happy Hogan, which was fun, funny, the back and forth between them, the banter, the reference of, obviously, we know Happy Hogan, Jon Favreau is obviously in the MCU, but then the whole idea of this film is being like an appreciation, or as a lot of people call it, a love letter to the Fox films. We know that Jon Favreau was in Daredevil with Ben Affleck, which has a reference later in this film. So a little wink, wink, nod, nod. They're back and forth. I like the scene. This is when we get our kind of various different versions of Logan. From there, we see, which was hilarious, we get the classic version of Wolverine, or I should say the short king, as they call him. We see, Hugh Jackman on a small person's body with his head on their body, which was kind of funny. What else do we get? We got the uncanny X-Man look version of Wolverine. We got a 90s, 80s look of the character. We saw a patch in the film. We saw a cool moment, which I wish we could have saw the fight. We have Wolverine in his kind of throwback outfit, or the outfit that he was wearing in the comics when he fought against, and also in the animated film with Wolverine versus Hulk. We get that scene, but we don't see them fight, which I'm hoping that they save it for later, maybe. But we get that moment. Again, I wish they would have fought, but I'll let that slide, because as we get to one of my favorite moments, one of my favorite cameos, we cut to another universe and we see a Wolverine from behind. And immediately when I saw the Wolverine from behind, I'm like, oh, this is someone, because all the other Wolverines, we, immediately saw their face. So Daniel Radcliffe, Taron Egerton. I mean, there's been a list of people that has been rumored to have been in the talks or negotiations to maybe be a Wolverine of the future MCU or in this very film. But my guy, my favorite Superman of all time, the one and only Henry Cavill. And when I say, I don't even know what words were spoken in that scene. Like, I think he called him Cavill, Reen. He might, I don't know. I didn't hear anything. I was just so like blown away by Henry Cavill in the MCU as Wolverine. Another fan cast from years ago. Tom Hardy, there's a bunch of people, but he looked perfect, man. I have no notes. He looked perfect as Wolverine. It was awesome to see. And I do know the one thing that I did hear him poke fun of is like, join us, stay on this side of the pond. We treat you better, alluding to, obviously, the horrible treatment that WB gave him over the 10 years that he was, the Man of Steel, and only got one movie. And one of the movies that he was in included a very terrible CGI mustache. I don't want to open up bad wounds, but it was just so great. Now, the question is, I think I know the answer, and you might know the answer too, but let's, hypothetically speaking, is this saying that that is a future Wolverine that could be in the MCU in the future? I doubt it, but let me know in the comments. Do you all think that it was just a cameo, just a one-time, call in a favor, join the MCU, have some fun, kind of the John Krasinski fan casting with, Reed Richards? Or is it saying this is our future Wolverine once Hugh Jackman hangs up the claws? Let me know in the comments. Again, I'm pretty sure we can all agree it's just a cameo, because I think there's been other rumors that he has taken on a role in MCU that hasn't been announced yet. There's been the Captain Britain, maybe Mr. Sinister, or someone in the X-Men, but I was happy to see that. That was one of my favorite cameos. Not my favorite, but one of them. We'll talk about my favorite a little bit later. But let me know what you all thought about the variant versions of the Wolverine in the comments below. Is Chris Evans, who I think purposely kind of changed his voice to sound like Captain America, to sound like that stoic, amazing hero that he is in those films, and the best, always on Cap's side in Civil War in particularly. But he jumps down, and again, he's wearing like red, white, and blue. So again, they're alluding to it being Captain America, but I knew he was going to be Johnny Storm, because he takes off the hood. And, Deadpool is he's going to do the thing. He's going to do the thing. And he's, instead of saying, Avengers Assemble, he says, flame on, which was cool to see. And he kind of gets I'm glad they didn't kill him. I thought this was going to be like another Illuminati situation where he just pops up and he's dead. He gets another, few scenes later in the film, and of course the tag at the end of the film. But we find the others. All right, let me prepare myself, because this was freaking awesome. So after they wake up, they find the others, and it's Jennifer Garner as Elektra, which, to be honest, it was fine. I mean, they I don't say spoiled this, but they announced her like a while ago. Like that was not like a surprise at all. Like they had announced, like Deadline said Jennifer Garner's coming back as Electra, so that wasn't a surprise. But she, by all means, she looks great. And I don't really care for those movies or that movie that she was in, her individual movie and her inclusion in Daredevil, which, by the way, a nice little funny joke when they said, "Oh, it was sad when Daredevil died," and she was like, "I don't really care," alluding to Ben Affleck, who played the character, but also in real life they were married. So a little wink, wink, nod, nod, funny joke. But we got Elektra. We got X-Wing 3 was kind of, I don't say spoiled. I made a video about that. They were in the trailer, so is it a spoiler? But anyway, X-Wing 3 is there as Laura, and that is the X-Wing 3 from the Logan movie because she puts her glasses on, which is a nod to the movie. Then the funny one, Channing Tatum as Gambit. And if you don't know the history, you can look it up, but just a quick rundown. He's been wanting to play Gambit for like over a decade. Like this is a almost similar situation to Ryan Reynolds wanting to play Deadpool for most of his career. Like he was apparently was going to be in the running for the appearance of the Gambit that we got in the X or the Wolverine Origins film, but we know Tyler Hitch got that role. And then he was going to be Gambit in like a 2014 film, which was canceled. And then there was one point, there was a script, there was, I think, a director attached. I think even Channing Tatum was going to direct it, but it was like a film that was going to production. Then 2020 hit. So it was canceled, it was shelved. So it's been a long time coming. And I do love the bit of him not being able to speak the Cajun accent. That was funny. Like, what are you saying? We can't understand you. That was funny. And I like the costume and all that stuff, but it was cool to see. But the best of the best of the best of the best. Ladies and gentlemen, I will admit, I don't think I was spoiled, but I kind of put two and two together. And this isn't even from a scooper, even though I think I saw a scooper say that Wesley Snipes was coming back at some point. And a lot of people were alluding it was this film. But putting that aside, Wesley Snipes himself, over the last few months, have been making a lot of comments about the Blade movie not being able to come out and having issues behind the scenes. But also, he's been like, quote, retweeting like rumors of Wesley Snipes coming back and him putting like eye emojis and stuff. Like he's been alluding to him coming back. So I kind of got a sense that he was going to come back sooner rather than later. But putting all that aside, seeing the man, the myth, the legend himself was awesome. I'm not even exaggerating. This is probably one of the best cameos I've ever seen. And it's really not, at this point, these are not even cameos because they're like full-on characters that are in multiple scenes. It's not like Illuminati or even Henry Cavill earlier, who's just in one moment. Like they're in multiple scenes in this film. But it was a great moment. I love Blade. I grew up with the Blades. Love 1. I personally am a Blade 2. Like that's my favorite out of the 3. And we don't really talk about Trinity, which another little cool thing about this scene, going back behind the scenes, there is a long history, well documented, of the disagreements, the disapproval, the just straight out not liking each other history between Ryan Reynolds and Wesley Snipes on the set of Blade 3. Like they didn't like each other. So money talks. As they made it happen. And they even allude to, I know you didn't like me or something like that. They allude to that. So I love the cameo. It is so awesome. One of one. Will we see him again in Secret Wars? I mean, he looked great, by the way, too. Like, still did the, we'll talk about the action scene, but let me know what like, I literally audibly gasped when he popped up on screen because I did not anticipate him being in this movie, even though, like I said, I had heard some things. I was thinking that was maybe for Secret Wars or maybe in Avengers 5. So awesome. That was so awesome. Which consists of Lady Deadpool and Kid Pool, Head Pool, all the pools, that she's gathered in the void. And even though they don't take their mask off, you can see in the credits that Lady Deadpool, everyone was speculating Taylor Swift for last year, but it was Blake Lively. Voice Cowboy Pool was voiced by Matthew McConaughey. And I think that was the only like big character actor that I saw voicing the role. Like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You all have been awesome, and I'll catch you all on the next video.